Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to be doing the second part, I guess, to relocating the battery from the front of the car to the back. So I have my new wire right here. I've got my sub, I've got my battery removed from the car, and this is what I'm working with. So I took it all out, and I've got all this space in the trunk. Now I'm going to be putting my rear tire and the jack back in the car. I'm going to have my subs right there where they used to be, and I'm going to be mounting the battery plate right here to the left. So where I'm at now is I disconnected everything. So I still have the wire going from the front of the car to the back. I've got my speaker wire right there. And I've got to drill 6 holes to secure this, this plate here in place so I can put the battery right there. So I've got my drill right here. And I need to make a hole. I need to make a hole so that I can fit one of these screws through it. So I've got this essentially lined up so that this is a little bit smaller than this screw, so I can screw this in place and it's going to secure the battery in place. So I've got the plate right there, and I'm going to be drilling 6 holes through the frame. Now before you do anything, make sure that you're not going to be drilling into anything important. So make sure that there's not a gas tank, make sure there's not, anything important underneath of where you're drilling. So this right here is more or less where the battery and the tray is going to be. So I just have it mocked up and it's attached to the frame. Now I'm going to take it all apart, remove the battery, remove the tray, and I'm going to put the carpet liner. So what you see over here, I'm going to put this back on this side, install it back on, and then reattach the battery plate on the bottom and the battery. That way it's going to be mounted up properly and it's going to be looking nice, not like this, where you can see all the exposed metal. Alrighty, so this is where we're at now. We put the rear backing piece in place so you can see that it's all covered up and it looks nice, just like the opposite side of the car. So we've got it set up like this. We have the battery mounted up to the tray, right there, just like that, and it's secured in place. So I've got the brackets that are securing it in, and you can see it's not going to go anywhere. So battery's in place. Now next up is going to be the wiring. Now we need to extend the wiring that we had right here. Now all I did was I tucked it underneath. So this is the wire that goes to the front of the car where the battery was hooked up to. So we just need to extend this to connect to here and then hook up our negative right here to anywhere on the chassis. Now I'm probably just gonna find up some little area, maybe back here, grind down to paint, and use a self-tapper just like I used for back there. So a little bit of time has passed and it's nighttime, but that still doesn't change the fact that I'm still kind of going away at this battery install. So I've got the negative hooked up to the battery, going underneath in the little carpet, and I'll see if I can move this out of the way. I've got it mounted down there and I made a ground. So I found a piece of bare metal. Well, actually it wasn't bare metal, it was primed metal. I scraped it down using a wire wheel, just like what we did over here, right there. And I connected the negative to that. So I've got the battery hooked up on the negative side, and I just need to extend the wire for the positive that came from the engine bay right here. I just need to extend this about another, I don't know, 1.5 feet with some more 0 gauge wire connected to the terminal that I'm gonna have installed on there, on the positive end, and the battery is gonna be good to go. So to extend the positive wire so we can get it so that the battery will connect to the positive wire that goes to the engine bay, we're gonna need to make a little piece that's an extension just like this. So if you can see right here on this end, this is what's gonna attach to the battery itself, and if you follow it down, we have a 0 gauge wire, and it goes to a connector where we have a screw, a bolt, and a nut on the end of it. So this right here is going to attach to another one of these with another wire attached to it. So we have, say this is the wire that's inside the car, we're going to have one of these connectors go over top of this. We're going to connect it over like that with the bolt through it, and you can see that it's going to connect and extend right up to our battery. So I'm going to show you how to make up one of these. Now depending on what you're doing, you can use either red, black, blue, or any other color wire that you want to use. Because I'm going to be making up a positive lead, I'm going to be using the red wire. Now you guys can choose red, blue, pink, green, or whatever. It's all up to you. So I'm going to be using the red right here, and I'm going to show you how to replicate this piece with this little part right here at the end of it. So if you guys want to pick some of this stuff up, I'll also have links in the description box, so don't you worry, you can check all that out down below. So the first thing that we need to establish is how much wire we need to cut. So I've got a spool right here of 25 feet of 0 gauge wire, and I'm going to cut about 2 feet of it. So just grab a 0 gauge wire cutter, put it over top, and squeeze. Just like that. Now a regular set of wire cutters is not going to be able to cut through this stuff, so I'll have a link for one of these things in the description box. You can pick it up. Now, next up is going to be stripping a little bit of wire on each end so that we can attach these connectors on the end of it. So we need to cut off about, I'd say, 1/2 inch worth of the heat wrap. So we're just going to grab a knife, grab, a wire stripper, anything really to get that done. So just cut off an appropriate amount. So with the wire like this, you can see that we've got the little sheathing over top of it. And once you cut it, you should be able to pull off the little bit, and it'll expose the copper wire underneath. Just like that. So this is what is going to be, the foundation that's going to be our electrical system. So we're going to have this, we're going to slide this over top like that, and we're going to clamp this down so that it's not going to go anywhere. Now to do that, I've got this little hammer piece right here. I picked this up from Amazon. You just slide this up so that this tooth is on the side like that. Spin it around. Put your wire through it like so. And then just grab a hammer and hit this down. Now what that's gonna do is it's gonna compress this little O-ring part, and instead of making it spherical like this, it's gonna compress it into like an oval shape, and it's gonna hold the wire in place. You're gonna push the hammer piece down so it's already putting pressure on the connector, and then once you're ready, hold the wire in place, grab your hammer, and give this a couple hits. Now it's gonna push down on the connector and hold the wire in place. And once you lift up on the hammer piece, you can see that it's crimped. Now if you have to, you might have to hit this a couple times, but once you have it like that, when you pull on it, the connector isn't going anywhere. So once you have this done, it should look something like this. So when you pull on it, it doesn't go anywhere. And then afterwards, you can install one of these little, I guess it's like shrink wrap that you put over top. And it just covers up the connection so that you're not gonna have a short or anything down the road. So it just slides right over top of the wire, like that. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna grab, say, that bolt, and feed it through both ends like this. So we can have any angle we want. So we can have a 90-degree bend. Say that we need that in our wiring. We can have a 90-degree bend. We can go straight. We can go inverted. And we can easily take this out because all that's holding it in is a screw and a bolt. So whether you're trying to relocate your battery to somewhere else in your car, whether if you want to work on your audio system and upgrade the wiring, or even if you want to install a big 3 upgrade on your car, I've got links to everything you need right here in the description box so you guys can check it out. From the hammers, to the tools, to the wire, to the crimpers, to everything. So if you want to upgrade, say, your negative, you can use your black cable and the connections appropriately with it. You can use a red cable, blue cable, or any other color cable that you'd like. So to give you guys an idea as to what we just did, we made up this wire right here that's connected to this piece, which is going to attach on the positive end of the battery. If we follow it down, right here we've got this one connector that we made up, and we put another one right here. So we've got the one right here that's going to the front of the car, and we're going to connect it there with the little bolt and nut. So that's going to hold this in place. We're going to be able to move this at any angle we want. And then once we install this over here on the top on the positive end, along with right here on the negative end, the battery and the car should work perfectly. Now once you do that, to make sure that you don't get a short, make sure that you wrap any connectors like this that might be touching the body of the car, wrap them in electrical tape just so that you're not going to get any short. The same thing goes for the negative end of the car. So if you have anything that you might be worried about, wrap it inside electrical tape and you're not going to have to worry about it. Alrighty, so here's the moment of truth. We have the battery hooked up, both the positive and now the negative. So as soon as I grab this and touch the battery is going to supply power to the car, and we should be able to use the car, turn it on, and get the car going. So as soon as I touch it, you're going to see the lights turn on in the vehicle. As you can tell, the little LED right there is on, and as soon as I remove the battery, or actually the negative terminal from the battery, you see it turns off. On, off. So with the battery relocate back here, this is good to go. The car's good. Now I'm probably going to install that red wire probably somewhere a little bit cleaner. Maybe run it from the top or maybe through the carpeting. But I'm not quite sure if I like it right there in that position. But as it stands, it works. It's functional. And this way I have room to install my subwoofers back here. You can see that I have my amp still hooked up on the back of the seat, but I need to grab power from the battery, bring it back there, and get that going. Now that's gonna be for a future video. Now because I still have to use this car as my daily, I need to get this good to go and rolling so I can get to school tomorrow morning. Now I'm gonna show you guys later how to install the subwoofer back into your car should you guys have one. Yeah, and you guys can stay tuned for that. If you have any questions regarding this video, throw it down in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help. Again guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Yummy.